So Sarah's story is much bigger than just her birth of Isaac, but today we're going to zoom in to what Hebrews 11 talks about with faith and Sarah. God had promised Abraham, Sarah's husband, a son. Great news, right? But time kept passing and passing and passing, and Sarah got a little bit antsy. So she thought maybe God needs a little bit of help with this. So she handed over her maid, Hagar, to Abraham and said, maybe this will help. Good idea in the moment? Maybe. Good idea in the long run? No. Because out of this came jealousy, abuse, drama, and the first recording of baby mama mess. But God didn't forget his original promise to Abraham. He said, you will have a son. Sarah actually overheard this conversation and she laughed. And God said, why did she laugh? And guess what she said? I didn't, which was a lie. But God called her out on it and said, I know that you did. And let's be honest, we have all had that moment with God where we're saying, I'm not doubting you, I was just clarifying that I heard the right thing, right? I can actually relate to this. When I was in high school, Jason came to me to tell me that he was called into the ministry. I told him, good for you. For me, I thought, zero chance am I ever going to be in this kind of relationship. Me coming out of a minister's home, there's no way that I wanted to go to another minister's home and live that out for the rest of my life. But the day that he walked away, I heard God say to me, that's your husband. I literally laughed out loud. Fast forward almost 20 years later, and here we are, married and in ministry. God has a great sense of humor. God's call out to catching Sarah in the lie that she didn't laugh actually got Sarah back on track. Sarah eventually trusted God's process, and she gave birth to Isaac, a promise fulfilled, the beginning of a nation. So here's the takeaway. Sometimes we get impatient. Sometimes we laugh at what God has to say. Sometimes we pretend we're not doubting when we really are. But God is faithful. And when we trust him, even when we've messed up, even when we've laughed, even when we lied about laughing, he still finds a way to bring his promise to life, as long as we don't let go. Next week, we are going to talk about this promised son, Isaac. See you then.